The Caribbean, a region of unparalleled beauty and cultural richness, faces a growing threat that extends far beyond its pristine shores. The collision of the forces of nature and the burden of debt. The climate crisis has wreaked havoc on the economies of small island developing states, which are on the front line of climate change impacts. Over the past 70 years, the Caribbean has endured 89 hurricanes, claiming the lives of 13,000 people, affecting millions and causing damages in excess of US $30 billion. At the close of 2022, 8 Caribbean countries had debt levels exceeding the 70% threshold the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank recognizes as a key inflection point where debt sustainability becomes a growing concern. Despite these nations contributing less than 1% of global greenhouse emission, they bear the brunt of climate change through rising temperatures, sea level shifts, and the intensification of tropical storms and hurricanes. Small island developing states are paying the price for a crisis that is not of their own making.
Climate change actually started in Bridgetown. When you think about the Europeans coming here and deforesting the entire Barbados, Barbados was one of the few places in the world that was entirely plantationized, essentially cutting down all the forests, all the trees, and planting one crop, sugarcane, monoculture. That has led to soil infertility, soil degradation in the Scotland district, which then makes farming very difficult.
In the aftermath of destructive natural disasters, governments with already limited fiscal space face a grim reality. They must reallocate budgets, engage in external borrowing, or wait on donor aid to fund emergency response, recovery, and reconstruction efforts. The loss and damages in some cases far exceed the size of entire economies. Hurricane Maria in 2017 devastated Dominica, causing damages equivalent to 225% of the country's GDP. Even more alarming is the link between climate change and the increasing frequency and intensity of tropical storms and hurricanes. Since 1995, the Caribbean has experienced a surge in extreme weather events, leading to a vicious cycle of destruction and debt. Climate projections paint a grim future for the Caribbean. By 2050, the region could face an annual cost of US $20 billion due to hurricanes, tourism losses, and infrastructural damages. By 2100, this figure could skyrocket to US $46 billion annually. These predictions, paired with the physical manifestations of the current climate crisis, have prompted leaders of SIDS to call for a fair playing field when it comes to debt structuring. Without adequate climate finance, Caribbean SIDS find themselves caught in a debt climate trap. Forced to borrow more to fund response and reconstruction, they accumulate debt only to have more added on by the next hurricane, perpetuating a cycle of mounting debt levels.
The cancellation of all debt is a legitimate call. The plunder of our natural and human resources is what have built the gains of our creditors. And really, we are in a situation where we are yoked to that debt that we should never owe.
The climate crisis also extends its reach to food and nutrition security. As net importers of food, reduced fiscal space and the inability to invest in agriculture has significant impact on the agricultural sector.
Climate change has so much to do in terms of our operation, our having a livelihood within agriculture. We have seen changes in increase of droughts, lack of access to clean water or water to feed livestock or to grow crops. And we've also seen an excess of weather patterns, more hurricanes, more storms, more lightning storms and what's not that affects our production.
In the face of these challenges, civil society emerges as a crucial player in the policy-making space. Their proximity to vulnerable groups calls for a stronger influence in shaping policies that address the needs of those most affected.
One of the main interactions that we need to do is have greater advocacy We need to be able to have these discussions and these critical discussions, everything on the table in relation to governments, regional heads of governments, also at the CARICOM level. We need to be able to call on the diaspora. We need to be able to have discussion with international financial institutions in relation to how best we're going to look at cancelling debt, how we're going to look at having better adjustment methods or repayment methods, and the priorities in which we want to continue to more or less go about doing this.
Developing states need international support, climate finance, and a re-evaluation of debt structures. Working collaboratively, SIDS can serve to break the chains of the debt-climate trap and ensure a resilient, sustainable future for the Caribbean and its people.